I wonder how many Toronto fans are going to be here tomorrow because they got the number one pick and they don't have far to travel.
Good point.
I'm sure there'll be some.
Toronto's got the number one overall?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Is there somebody who is like a 90% chance that they're going to take?
Gavin McKenna. He's out of Penn State.
Yeah.
Number one overall. Okay, say hello to all your viewers on the pre-show.
Hello, all you studs and ladies.
All right, so I believe we're ready to go. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that there will be no technical difficulties. And so I'm going to reset the timer, and when it says on the air, you guys are on the air, okay?
All righty.
Here we go, resetting the timer. When it says on the air, you're on the air.
Hello, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Fair Catch. That's Russ. And Russ, the Sabres have been busy. I think I'll read what they did so far. Starting off with Michael Kessering being traded to the Sharks and the 27th pick to get a 20th. So, for this.
Yeah, that trade would kind of surprise me a little bit. I didn't think Kesselring. I thought they were actually going to try to sign him because he is or was an RFA, a restricted free agent, and I thought they were going to try to sign him, but they figured, why not move 7 spots up? I guess they mutually parted ways. So moving up to the 20th pick, it's not a bad deal. I mean, it's they accommodated him, moved up 7 spots, and in the back of my brain, I'm like, here we go.
Kesseling was hurt majority of his season, and it was really like. He was really the odd man out. He played one game in the playoffs, but like I said, he was just an odd man out. But then he decided not to keep the 20th pick. They decided to take it with Byram and Greenway to the Blackhawks. And they said the 20th pick, and they get the 4th and 45th overall pick, plus defenseman, I believe, if I'm pronouncing it right, Louis Gravier?
Yep. That would be him. Gravier he's just gigantic. to put it into words that we can all understand. He's like 6'8", about 230 pounds, right-handed shot. He is he's consistently over 100 miles an hour with his shot. So. And from what I've heard is that he could be like your third pair defenseman. He's good at killing penalties, and if he needs to fill minutes on the top 4 as far as defenseman goes, he can do that in a pinch. And the key part of this deal is getting the 4th overall pick. Now the 4th overall pick. That's significant. No matter how you look at the NHL
draft. That's like trade bait, or you're gonna get a talented player like overall. If they stay at 4, but who knows? Yarman's been a busy guy so far.
You're looking at. Gavin McKenna's out of Penn State. He's looking to go 1st overall to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But then you have Ivar Stenberg from Sweden, and then you have Chase Reed, and then Caleb Malhotra the son of Manny Malhotra. Those are like the top. Those have been like the consistent top 4 that I have seen so far. So, I mean, depending on who you go by, or depending on who you believe, or however, it looks like that Caleb Malhotra is going to be the guy that's available. But other names cropped up from other analysts that I was listening to, and the name that seems to come up more and more is a kid by the name of Vigo Bjork, and he's also from Sweden. A little bit on the small side, about 5'9", about 100, about 175, but has the traits of Zach Benson. So how can you go wrong there? But I mean, it all depends on what. Well, first off, it depends on if trade offers are going to come in. Is it going to be worth it? You know, because you heard a lot about Matthew Nyes out of Toronto. Why Toronto wants to trade the kid is beyond me.
Well, probably want to rebuild, I guess it sounds like.
Well, Toronto, I don't know. Toronto is Toronto. I mean, that's just what they do. But it's a supremely talented kid. He's only 23, maybe 24 years old. And I believe he signed fairly long term. I have that answer here in a bit. But yeah, Matthew Nyes, he's making now. The thing about Matthew Nyes is he is making $7.7 million a year, $7.75 million, and he's signed through 2030, 2031. Now, right now, the Sabres have approximately $13.7 million in cap space. Plus, they have Peyton Krebs out there, Beck Malenstein, so and a bunch of unrestricted free agents. Logan Stanley being one of them, who's going to be really interesting if they decide to re-sign him. So what do you do here?
Yeah. I mean, they had to get rid of Byram because Byram wanted to be on the number 1 pairing, but Samuelson and Dahlin kind of, you're not going to push them out of the number 1 pairing, honestly. So, and Byram, I think I kind of knew that he was going to be traded in a way. I mean, still a young player, great. I liked him when he was here, so was done after that.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Byram, he had a good season, his best season as a pro. So the fact that he wanted to be in the number 1 spot, I get it. Nobody plays to be in the middle. So that's fine. Now, what kind of an extension is he out of Chicago?
Well, they got money left over.
Oh, they definitely do. I mean, they definitely do. How much is he going to get? I've seen anywhere between 10 and 12 he's going to get. I'm like, that's way too much. Way too much.
Well, for here,
they have to sign don't forget they have to sign Connor Bedard.
Mm-hmm. And then Yarmo traded, and we'll get more about Tuck after Pacenzia, but Tuck is going to the Capitals. Buffalo gets a 3rd round pick in 2027 draft, and they also got somebody else I just read. It's another defenseman. And then Zach Benson, 7-year deal, $49 million. But the answer is finally here about Tuck, because that was the question going in the offseason. What's going on with Tuck? Is he going to sign, or is he going to walk? And obviously, Yarmo trading Tuck, I think, answered that question.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It was a sign and trade that they got for him, and the player that they got in return, not just the third round pick. His name is David Kemp, and he's a grinder. Nothing. He's kind of like a Beck Malenstein and whatnot. So I mean, he's a decent fourth liner. It is what it is with him. But the key part is they didn't have to spend $10.5 million on Alex Tuck, and that's what he wound up getting. Which, hey, good for him.
Well, Buffalo wasn't going to pay that. Obviously,
no,
because you don't want him to be making more than a 40-goal scorer like Tage Thompson, to where Tuck's a 30-goal scorer. Don't get me wrong, but you don't want to pay above Tage Thompson, because Tage Thompson is your 40-goal scorer. He is worth every bit of his money too.
Yeah, well, he got 8 years, $84 million. So, and at the age of 30, going on 31, I don't know if that's a smart move. And there's players playing into their late 30s, but by and large, that's few and far between.
They might be concerned that he might be retiring. Who knows? I think he's playing another year. Or it's like probably that other, I don't think it was a good idea for the Capitals to do it, because your number one left winger is in his 40s, and they got a lot of other players that are in their 30s. So it's kind of like, come on, Washington, what are you doing?
Well, the Washington's thinking is that they have probably one more year with Alex Ovechkin, and they're going to go for it. They want him to go out on top, which I get. There's nothing wrong with it, with that kind of thinking. So I mean, and they also made another trade, I believe. They got now the guy that the Caps got from St. Louis was a guy that I was hoping that the Sabres would look into, and that was Jordan Kyrou. From St. Louis.
Yeah,
I like him.
I think they were looking at him during the trade deadline, but they were looking at Robert Thomas though first. I think they really wanted Robert Thomas, and they
don't give up on Robert Thomas either. So there's a lot still to come with him, I think.
Yeah, smoke screen again. It's what happens in the your off seasons. We know that with the NFL draft. We know this with the NHL. I mean, NHL free agent he hasn't even started yet. And that's not from yesterday, so that should be fun. Our show, we'll have a show after the day after, so that should be a fun show. But
yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, there's between now and July 1st, there could still be a few more. I have a feeling there's going to be a few more moves made. Now, given that tomorrow night is the draft, the NHL draft, and the draft being in Buffalo, and Yarko the way he is, because he likes to make splashes and whatnot, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he made a move, say like McLeod, and the fourth going to Toronto for Matthew Knees. I could see that maybe.
Or Connor Hellebuck. Or Connor Hellebuck, don't forget, when a goaltender.
Yeah, you're not giving up the fourth overall for Connor Hellebuck. I don't care what you do. You don't. Connor Hellebuck is 33 years old. He had a down year last year. Granted, the team that he played on wasn't the greatest, but you're not overall for Connor Hellebuck.
My opinion, I think we're fine at goaltending. I like the way Luukkonen played in Game 7. Alex Lyon, yeah, he struggled against Montreal. I mean, nothing he can do about it, but he was a very, very key figure on why they broke the drought, too. I mean, Lyon and Luukkonen, Lindy using them both was very smart the way he did it. So I trust the goaltender a little bit.
I think Luukkonen's going to get moved. To be honest with you, and I think he could be, and not only him, but Devin Levi could be moved as well.
Yeah, I guess Levi's having problems in Rochester too. That's another thing.
I don't think he's necessarily having problems. I mean, Levi had a pretty good year in Rochester. He's just stuck. He just won. Colton Ellis and the other two. I mean, Devin Levi had a 2.83 goals against average, a 904 save percentage. I mean, it's not bad, But I think when you're stuck behind, Colton Ellis and Alex Lyon and UPL, he wants out. He wants out. He wants to go someplace where he has a chance to play, and who can blame him? I mean, the Sabres every year.
Yeah, which was backwards anyway. When Levi first came here, they started Levi, and then they were in a playoff push that year. But then, the year after that, sent him down to Rochester, and he has not had a chance to really come up and prove himself again. But again, you're saying Colton Ellis, which I like too, by the way. I think if they get rid of Luukkonen, I think we could use Colton Ellis and Lyon through that. I wouldn't mind that too,
Well, you know what? I mean, in looking at the farm system, they have goaltenders down in the minors. So I mean, they have young goaltenders there. So by trading Devin Levi, it's not necessarily you're giving up on a young goaltender. It's just that you're making room for somebody else, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but I do have a feeling that because if you're going to bring in Hellebuck, then you got to get rid of one of the three. They're going to keep Colton Ellis because he's only 25 years old and just scratching the surface. Alex Lyon he's got 1 year left on his deal. And after the year he had last year, if he can duplicate that, I mean, if he stays on the team and if he duplicates that, he's going to want a hell of a raise. And then you've got UPL, who signed for the next few years, this year and 2 more years, at $4.75 million. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent on 2029, 2030. Alex Lyon's there for $1.5 million, and you have Colton Ellis, who's still on his rookie deal, but becomes a UFA next year. So you have to make a decision on where you want to go. If you want to bring in Hellebuck, that's fine, but you got to move one of these three. And I'm thinking it's going to be UPL mainly because of his salary, because Hellebuck, he makes a pretty penny in there. Let me see. Let's see what Mr. Hellebuck is making. Thank you, Mr. Internet. He is making $8.5 million, and he's signed through 2030, 2031. So you got to move UPL and maybe another piece.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if you get Hellebuck, you really don't have to keep Lyon because you don't really want to have 2 30-year-old goaltenders at the same time. So I would put, if you're going to get Hellebuck, I would keep Ellis and have him at full, like a backup to Hellebuck to learn. on the ropes, to be on the, like basically Miller had to do, like early in his career with Baran and Norton.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, honestly, I think given the cap situation and given the players that still have to be that have yet to be signed by the Sabres, I think you're better off getting rid of trading UPL.
Yeah.
With that money, it helps balance out the salary of Hellebuck a little bit. So you're not really taking on the full 8.5. And one other thing that needs to be said is that next year, with the Jeff Skinner buyout, they gained $4 million from the Jeff Skinner buyout. This goes from 6.4 to 2.4 next year that they're going to be paying. So they gained So by gaining $4 million next year, and if you're able to balance out Hellebuck this year a little bit with say moving UPL, it only makes sense to move Luukkonen at that point. But again, Hellebuck, one team you got to look out for is Florida because they have no goaltenders right now.
Yeah, Bobrovsky is a free agent, and they're trying to hook us up with him, but I doubt that. I mean, like I said, we got Lyon. I don't see Bobrovsky coming here anytime soon.
Well, he wants a long-term deal at the age of 38, so I don't know.
I don't see that happening.
It's not going to happen.
I mean, just that's Ryan Miller at the end of it, 38.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, he was decent. Speaking of Florida, they get the Kachuk brothers.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, Ottawa doing Ottawa things. But, yeah, oh, my God.
Just because they made the playoffs doesn't mean they want to empty their locker room out.
Yeah, I mean, when you first hear about this trade, you got Brady Tkachuk going from Ottawa to Florida, and Ottawa receives 2 first-round picks in this draft, which is okay. Conditional first-rounder in 2029 and a second-rounder next year, and yeah, that's an Ottawa Senators type of trade.
Yeah, I mean, in Florida, they still got the talent down there. They want to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals. They want to get another Stanley Cup. But, I mean, so it's not like, just because Florida missed the playoffs this season doesn't mean that they're still talented, and they're still talented. They still have a team that can win the cup. Either way you look at it.
Yeah, they do, but it's like, they have to get a goaltender. I mean, right now, their cap situation is really interesting because they've circled around Hellebuck a lot, but they only have $5.8 million in cap space, so they have to make a move.
Maybe they get rid of Reinhardt and send him back to Buffalo.
Oh my goodness, he's making over $8 million now. but they're very top heavy on their team right now. They have Barkov, Alexander Barkov making $10 million. Matthew Tkachuk, his brother, making 9.5. Reinhardt making 8.6. Brady Tkachuk making 8.2 million. Sam Bennett's making $8 million, for God's sake. How'd that happen?
They got an all-star team down there.
And then Carter Verheway, I know I butchered that, but whatever, $7 million. And Brad Marchand is making $5 million. Anton Lundell is making $5 million. I thought I heard his name in trade. And then they got a ton of And then I'll tell you, then they got a ton of UFAs, but it's Evan Rodriguez is making a little over $3 million. So they got a lot of money tied up in like 6 players.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they let Marchand go because of the fact of his age, obviously.
No, they're going to keep Marchand. You keep players like him. Yeah, you keep players like
maybe Evan Rodriguez.
Well, maybe I mean, at the age of 38, I mean, he doesn't. Who knows how much ice time he can log at that age? But he is the ultimate rat. Has been the ultimate rat for going on almost 20 years now. So, and he's become, I don't want to say the heart and soul of the Panthers in a way, but they wouldn't have won the cup without him.
Oh yeah. So plus, I mean, yes, he has had experience of winning the cup before. Before that, obviously, with a very talented Boston team back then, obviously with Chara and Bergeron and you name it, Thomas, Rand.
They beat the Vancouver Canucks. It doesn't count.
Well, the teams are in there.
Yeah, but all in all, I mean, I could expect a lot of activity with the NHL draft on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I could definitely see that.
That's the thing. It's like with the drafts, it's not just like the NFL. You see how many trades go on in the NFL, but the NHL definitely with the cap situations and that. There's a lot more moving, wheeling and dealing in the NHL. That's the best part about the NHL. It's so much goes with, especially free agency coming soon. It's like you're going from the draft right to free agency, and people want to make that wheel and deal. Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, though, I think they're going to keep the number 4 pick unless they get a deal that they can absolutely say no to. And it also depends on who's available, because if Stenberg's available, if he somehow slips to 4, which there is a slight possibility that could happen, I think they're going to take him.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're calling him more. They're calling him almost NHL ready because he plays in the Swedish professional league with guys like 30 years old. And what? And he's playing and he's playing pretty well. Chase Reed, if he falls to them at number 4, I could see them taking him. But now you're having a gluttony of defensemen in your system because you got Burka and whatnot, and you and looking at the prospects today, they have another kid. Give me 1 second while I. It's Adam Kleber, who's at the University of Minnesota Duluth, who's much like Mirka. He's a big boy at 6'6", 225 pounds or so, and he's also a right-handed shot as well. So you have a couple of kids that in a year that could be in your top 4, maybe. And then you also have Crevier. He's only 25, and then depending on, so you're starting to get a little bit of a backlog in defensemen. So I think, it could be Caleb Malhotra, which would be a little ironic because his dad was picked 7th overall while the draft was in Buffalo in 1998. That'd be kind of cool, he could hold something over dad like, I was picked sooner than you. But there's a lot that can happen because don't forget you lost Alex Tuck, 30 goals.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people when they traded JJ Paterka last year, they were like, okay, where's 25 goals going to come from? Who's going to step up? Well, Josh Doan. There you go.
Yep.
Now you have
Yep.
constant. Now you have Helenus. You have Kulik.
Yep.
And you got Osland. Can you count
Yep.
on one of those three to get you a 30, maybe 25? I don't know. I mean, if you feel like you're close to making it to the Stanley Cup, you make the deal for Matthew Knees.
Mm-hmm.
Or
yeah, I mean, I could kind of see Doan moving up and taking Tuck's spot in a way because, him being with, if you pair him with Thompson and that, you're going to get some good numbers. And you don't have to put Thompson at center, too. You could put Doan at center and put Thompson at wing because obviously Thompson struggled in the face-off circle.
Well, I don't think Thompson. I don't see Doan as a center. I see him as a winger.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But you have Osland, and I don't know about Helenus playing center. I like him as a winger. But yeah, I mean you've got where the point being where are the goals going to come from? Yeah. And I think this is where the number 4 pick, the 4th overall pick, can be extremely valuable, especially to a team like the Maple Leafs, because now you have the 1st and 4th pick. You can take McKenna 1st overall. Then you can come back down and you can take maybe another maybe a defenseman. Maybe Chase Reed falls to you at 4, and then there you go. You got a nice 1-2 there. But the key to the draft though is the number 2 pick with the Sharks, because if they go for say Chase Reed, because they're looking for a defenseman. If they go for Chase Reed, that means Stenberg falls. Now Caleb Malholtra's dad, Manny Malhotra, is the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. They pick number 3. Does he take his son at number 3, dropping Stenberg to number 4? That's the whole thing. If dad passes on his son, it could be a very, very cold Thanksgiving Day table. Those holidays. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be that part, like the draft, is going to be very interesting. I mean, because obviously we know that even though the draft is in Buffalo, I think everybody's going to look at the Sabres or keying in on the Sabres of what they're going to do with the 4th pick. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, and obviously, like, if you look at, like, a lot of the number 2 picks of late, that won Stanley Cups, if you notice. Like, Michael, Reinhart.
Yeah.
And the number 1 picks, like, McDavid has struggled. Austin Matthews has struggled. The last time 1st-round draft picks worked was obviously your 1st overall pick was Crosby and Ovechkin winning cups. But it took Ovechkin.
Well, Austin Matthews has the burden of Toronto on his shoulders, so that's a pressure cooker. No matter how you look at it, I mean that's like playing in New York City. So the worse than that. I mean, Toronto is they live, breathe, die hockey in Toronto. So I think Austin Matthews. We'll see what happens with him, because I would not be surprised if he asked for a trade at some point. If this is going to be a complete teardown and rebuild, he's 30 years old now. He's not going to want to wait.
Yeah, and he wants to get a cup just like McDavid wants. You know, they don't want to end their career without a cup. You know,
Right.
McDavid had 2 opportunities so far, and
well,
game
the pressure's
7.
on, and the pressure's on in Edmonton because there was a crazy rumor. I don't know how true this is going to be. There's a crazy rumor that he could be on the move, which I don't know about that, because if that happens, but then again, if Wayne Gretzky can be traded, anybody can be traded. So so there you go.
For sure.
With that,
I mean,
but yeah,
Cal LaFontaine got traded 3 times, but one of them the reason by injury. But
well, but star players can be traded. I mean, it's happened, but Toronto, they I don't want to say that they have to get this right, but if they may, I don't know why they would trade Matthew Knees, but if they do trade him, if the Sabres want him, they might have to trade. They would have to trade a piece like McLeod to kind of balance out that salary coming back.
I mean, do they really want to get rid of McLeod? I mean, especially with the speed that he has.
Well, they may not want to, but if they want to take on salary like that, either Hellebuck or Knees or somebody like that, they would have to move salary to do that. There's really no way around that. So I think you're going to have to. Or another option would be trading Zucker. You know, he's on the last year of his deal. You know, I like Zucker. I think. I really do.
I really do. Plus, he's fun. He smiles a lot too. He does. He's got that. You know, he just loves playing hockey. You can see it in his face, like smiling all the time. He loves it, and I think that helps our locker room out a lot. You know, him being goofy and that. So he's, you know, but if they have to trade him, because he's up in his 30s, probably the oldest one on the roster so far, but besides Lyon.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, you've also got guys like Justin Danforth, who signed who's got one more year left on a $1.8 million deal. You know, I think that's overpaying for him. So if you want to bring guys like that over here, you have to pretty much balance out that money a little bit and say, okay, we'll trade you to 4th overall, but you have to take, you know, Jason Zucker or Ryan McLeod.
Yeah, and I feel after that exit press conference that Yarmo really loved Hellenis, especially saying that he doesn't want to send him back down to Rochester. He wants to keep him up here. So they got options from Rochester that they can bring up this season too. Let's not forget about that. Like with Olsen and Hellenis, and obviously we forgot about you mentioned about Kulik, who had that blood clot, and so there's some pieces right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hellenis coming in and playing like he did in the playoffs, it was like a glimpse into the future of what could be. I mean, you can't really judge a player on 2 or 3 games played, or even 10 games played. So, I mean, I would venture a guess that he makes the team next year, along with Oslin and Kulik. But the thing is, that's a lot of pressure to put on some young guys.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure, and losing Puck. Again, you have to replace 30 goals somewhere.
Yeah,
you know, maybe collectively they can do it. I mean, Oslin had 10 last year, I believe. So, yeah. I mean, the talent is there. There's no doubt that the talent's there. Whether that talent produces or not, that's a whole nother story. But given the fact that that Yarmo was able to get the ammunition at the 4th overall pick, and they had the 20th overall pick too.
Yeah.
So that we can't forget about that. So they may use the 4th pick depending on who falls there with the 4th overall. They may be able to look at the 20th and say, okay, let's try to package that up with a player or two and see what they see what they can get.
Yeah, because the only guy that I could see out of like Doan and Hellenis and Austin as your 30 goal scorers is Doan being a 30 goal scorer. I mean, I think the way he played last season, he can only get better.
Yeah. I mean that. Well, I'll never forget that one play. I think it was in Boston when he split through those 2 Bruin players to set up one of the goals.
Zach Benson.
Yeah, I mean that's a play that you see Boston Bruin players used to make against the Sabres all the time, But I mean the young talent's there, but I don't know if I want to count solely on the young talent just yet. Because you still got and you look at the forward position, but you can't forget about the defense either, because you still may have to find a top 4 defenseman now because of Bo Byram not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean you need somebody along with Owen Power, obviously, and I mean none of the defensemen behind them, I don't think fits with Power. You need somebody like Byram fit with Power, but they got to figure out a way to replace Byram to play alongside Power.
I mean, you've got a combination of, depending on who they could get. I mean, you're looking at, you have Zach Metza. They have Crevier. You can put those 2 in your bottom 2 for right now until you get somebody else. I mean, if they do re-sign Logan Stanley, you put Stanley and Crevier together. That's a gigantic defensive.
Well, that's like a Basham duo, and get the Hanson brothers from that movie and just here you go, just wallop them.
Maybe Merca makes the team next year.
That's what I was trying to think of. Merca maybe coming up and going with Power. I mean, Power's gotten a lot better now that he's getting that experience. And I think Byram taught him a lot, and I think he's learned a lot. He had I think he had a decent playoff. I really did. I didn't see any problem with Power. He really stepped it up when he had to.
I mean, everybody's maybe thinking, hey, they might trade for a forward, but what about trading for a defenseman too?
Yeah. I mean, that's really what they've been doing a lot of, since the trade deadline, getting Logan Stanley, getting obviously Luke Shen, but Luke Shen obviously he's a free agent now, but you got Michael Kessering, who they traded. That was
I was really disappointed to see Kesselring go. I was disappointed because I really thought if he had a full healthy season that he could have been something. But a name you got to also think about is Connor Timmins too, because he played, as I thought he played pretty well the time he got in the playoff, and he started to come on late in the year too. So, and he's got some good size. So, but I don't know if he's top 4. But if you're looking at bottom 2 now, if they decide not to sign Logan Stanley, you could put Crevier and Timmins together as your bottom 2. as your third pair defenseman. Top pairing would be Dahlin and Samuelson. So now you're looking for somebody to play with power. Who can they get? So you're looking for that, and now you're looking for somebody to replace Tuck.
Yeah.
So depending on how you want to work the lines out, now you got to look for, say, okay, you got Thompson, Doan, maybe on your top line. Who else fits? And then you go to your second line. Who fits? Your third line, your fourth line guys. Can you count on Helenius to do that? Can you count on Kulik to do that? Can you count on Oslin to do that? Oslin's a very good center. He's a very good center. He's of the players in the Eichel trade. That is that's the forgotten guy. But I think I think there's so many options out there. There may be too many options, but I would rather have too many options than no options. What do they do with the fourth overall? Because if you pick a player at fourth overall, you're still going to have to wait a year for them.
If they keep it, I'm looking at it this way. If they keep the fourth, they'll probably sign somebody in free agency. But I don't know who. I haven't really checked my list of who's in free agency right now.
The free agency list isn't all that great this year. That's why you see
nobody. There's nobody that's going to replace Tuck. Obviously, that's on the free agency list. I could see, like I said, I could see them trading that fourth pick to replace Tuck. Maybe we can only wait and see. Obviously, that's why we got to wait till tomorrow. Obviously, unless he pulls some overnight. Well, he's been pulling overnight. Obviously, moves because obviously the Zach Benson one was overnight, and so was the Byron Green one.
Well, one player looking at the free agency rankings would be Boone Jenner, who has a track record with Yarko.
And Columbus,
with Yarmo, so he's got a track record with him. Mason Marchant, again, he comes from the Blue Jackets. You got Anthony Mantha, Anders Lee, Patrick Kane. Now there's a dude that has been rumored to be coming home for I don't know how many years now. So who knows if that'll come to fruition? Claude Giroux.
I know he can. He's won a few cups somewhere in Chicago, and had a game winning. So why not come home and do it?
He's 37, 38 years old, possibly on a 1-year deal, but I sincerely doubt it. You've got Claude Giroux and Patrick Kane. Believe it or not, Patrick Kane is 37 years old. Yeah, man, how time flies. Claude Giroux's 38. He's available. Matt Zuccarello, he's 38. Now I'll tell you what. Of all the guys that is out there, the guy that is very interesting is Patrick Laine. He's 28 years old. He's out of Montreal now. But who drafted him?
Yarmo
drafted him. So if there's a player out there, in the free agency market that Yarmo's probably going to give a call to come July 1st, that's your guy. Now, he was making 8.7. His 25-26 cap hit was 8.7 million. So I don't know if he's going to get that kind of money. But him and Yarmo have they have a thing there.
But if you're looking for the 30 goals, if we're looking for the 30 goals, Liney's your man.
But you know what? But other than that, it's like everybody is like a. I mean, there really isn't anything worth it, really, to say, oh, I have to have that guy.
Yeah, a lot of it is like basically like you're saying with the 38-year-olds, they're probably pieces that like a team like I don't know Carolina could use to replace maybe Stahl or like a veteran for a veteran because they got young talent, or a team that has young talent that was in the playoffs that just needs a bottom four, fourth liner, obviously. Like Sakurel sounds like a fourth liner now. But he's got the experience, obviously.
Hey, if you want experience, Corey Perry's available.
He's been on quite a few teams.
He's 41 and still kicking, baby. Yep. But I think at some point you're going to be going to what's left over in free agency and that's where you go bargain bin shopping. Who can you get? But I will say this: if they really want to suppose they trade for knees, they somehow work a deal where they can get Hellebuck. Then they maybe make another salary dump deal to get Patrick Laine. It's all possible, but Yarmo still has a lot of work to do that. Because like I said before, you still have Peyton Krebs you're going to want to sign. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be long term, but you're going to want to sign him maybe for a 2-year bridge.
And I'm thinking that he pretty much would be your second line center because, but I don't know, maybe you put Doan as your second line center, in my opinion, but who knows? I mean, it's like a good problem to have,
Oh, it is a good problem to have, but I can see. But I think as far as centers go, I think you're looking at Osland. I think you're looking at Kulik. You could be looking at Helenius, and you could be looking at Krebs being like your fourth line center. There's a lot of youth there, but I think if you're looking for goal scoring, if you want some scoring on the wing, you can trade for knees, or you can, or maybe both. Depending on how Kekalainen wants to work this. There are options out there, but it all depends on how he wants to do it. And whatever, and what's available for that matter, because there's a lot of teams that want Matthew Knees right now out of Toronto.
Yeah, so the last thing is Zach Benson, 7-year deal, $49 million. I like the fact that he's here for 7 more years. Fan favorite, but $49 million, I don't know. It's too early for him to make $7.5 million.
Well, here's a problem you have. He's going to get the money somewhere else on an offer sheet. Mm-hmm. They would have offer sheeted him, and he would have been probably gone. Because if they would have the offer sheet would have come in for say like $9 million. He's gone. Yeah. So they were able to work out a deal for 7 years at $7.5 million per. To be honest with you, I think it's a good deal. I really do, because he really started to show his offensive capabilities, not only in the second half of the regular season, but in the playoffs as well. And you could say a star was born in front of our very eyes.
He reminds me of a guy that was his size named Nathan Gerby. A little bit of a grinder, who couldn't score goals.
No, I think he's a rat. He's a rat.
Oh,
he's a rat.
Okay, with a little bit of Matthew Barnaby.
I'd say more Barnaby than Gerby. But I'll tell you, a player, if there's any way possible that they could move would be Josh Norris.
Yeah.
There's a dude.
I don't
He's
think,
making $7.9 million.
and I don't think he's played a whole season since he's been in the NHL.
I don't think so
And
either.
that's
But
not good on his resume on that one.
no, it isn't.
And-
But I think there's a guy that if they can get 60, 70 games out of him, you're looking at a 50 to 60 point player. If he's really good, and there's some of your goal replacement for Alex Tuck.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, there are just some players, no matter how, I don't know how, but you've got players that can play years and have some injuries, but hardly miss any games. But then you have some players that just have trouble staying healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how that is. Bad luck, however, but it's too bad because he's a really good player when he's healthy.
Yeah, very, very talented. He's a very talented player. But again, you got it. It's mainly availability is the key thing. I think that's another reason why I think there's double Kesterland because of availability, and he was basically the odd man out. Unfortunately, and I think another reason why Greenway got traded because of the availability. And you're not gonna pay him lots of money just to not knowing if he's gonna play or not.
Yeah, well, that was a key part of that deal. That was such a huge part of that deal. Not only are you clearing $6.2 million with Byram, but being able to clear an extra $4 million. Holy cow! Now I don't know if they needed that money to get to the salary cap. I don't know, but thank you, Chicago, for being so kind as to take on that contract. Because now, obviously with almost $14 million in cap space, they have some options there, but they still have to kind of be careful a little bit in how they work their cap. But I can see another big move coming. It's just a matter of what and for who.
Because we know how aggressive Yarmo is, and especially when he was the general manager of Columbus, very aggressive. And Yarmo makes this town more excited. We haven't really had that with a general manager like Kevin Adams. No offense, Kevin Adams. He did make the last one trade he made last offseason to bring in Doan, trading Paterka basically for Doan and Cutsling. It was a great trade. I'll admit it was a great trade. But again, they were.
What killed Kevin Adams was the season before.
Yeah.
When they went through that 13-game winless streak. And nothing happened.
Yeah. And then the beginning of the season, last season, so the past season, because they showed that they have a talent. As soon as Yarmo came in, boom, their attitude changed to this team is good. We already knew that.
Yeah, and the thing is, well, when they let Adams go after that Western road trip, the Yarmo stepped into that locker room and gave them a speech, and they took that speech to heart because they went on a tear after that. They were the best team in the NHL in the regular season after that. So, yeah, but there are some moves that still have to be made. There's still a lot of work to do for sure. Yarmo seems to be up to it. Let's put it this way: there's going to be moves that fans are not going to like. I firmly believe that. I think players are going to go that fans are going to go, why did you trade him? I feel that. I feel that. I think.
With some of the moves that he has so far made, they're all understandable. Tuck, he didn't want to lose for free. Byram wanted to be in the number one pairing, but honestly, he couldn't. He couldn't here because of obviously Darling and Samuelson. So a lot of the move in Kesterling, obviously, because he was the availability. So some of these moves were very understanding, and they were very
Well, that's why he gets paid the big bucks. But it'll be very interesting, and you know what? It's going to make it's nice that the interest in the draft, with the draft being in Buffalo, that the Sabres are right in the center of it all. I think that's fantastic. It's going to be a great time downtown. There may be draft parties now in downtown Buffalo that weren't there before. So, and if I'm hoping Stenberg falls to them, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, we'll be back next week and recap free agency and recap the draft. And will Rich ever get a Stanley Cup?
I think he just needs support because the rest of the team's dragging him down. He may have to be dealt to a winner.
Yeah. He might have to go to Carolina.
Yeah. Well,
all right, take care, everybody.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys in the future. I'm glad to see there were no technical problems.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you Saturday.
Have a good one, Richard.
Okay, bye, guys.